Hello and welcome to Coders Column. My name is Sunny Solanki, and in today's video I will explain how to create a simple dashboard using Python data visualization library Streamlit. Streamlit is one of the most preferred library to create a dashboard using Python. It let us include charts from various Python data visualization libraries like Matplotlib, Bokeh, Altair, and so on. And it even has a rich support of widgets like drop down, checkboxes, radio buttons, multi-select, and so on. So as you can see on my screen, I already have a sample image open which shows the dashboard that we are going to create. So the dashboard that we are going to create will have a simple two charts. One will be scatter plot and another will be a stacked bar chart. And on the right side, on the left side, as you can see, we have various widgets which we will use to change these two charts. So the dataset that we have used to create these two charts is a wine dataset. So the dataset is already available from a Python library scikit-learn, which I will explain when coding. So let's move on to the coding part. So as you can see on my screen, I have a Visual Studio Code open. So I'll be using this editor to code, but you can use any other editor as well. That's no problem with that. So at the beginning of the notebook, at the beginning of this file, I already have some code included by default. So as you can see, first of all, I imported Streamlit as st. Then I imported library pandas, and then I have imported library pandas bokeh, which we can use to create a bokeh charts from pandas data frame. And then I have imported load wind function from scikit-learn. So over here I have created a simple function. So what this function does is it loads wind dataset as a pandas data frame and returns it. So winddf is equal to load data. So winddf will have our winddf dataset. And ingredients is various ingredients used in creation of different types of wine. And over here I have created one more data frame, which is average winddf, which I have created by grouping entries of this original winddf data frame based on wine type, and then calculated average of those values. So let me show you how this wine data frame looks. So over here, as you can see on my screen, I have a sample notebook open where I have included the same code to load wine dataset as a pandas data frame. So as you can see, it has various columns with which are ingredients used in creation of wine. And at the end, I have a column named wine type, which is a categorical column, and it has three values: class 0, class 1, and class 2. Now ingredients is nothing but a list of ingredients: alcohol, malic acid, ash, and so on. And average wine df is average values of ingredients for wine type. So class 0 has 13.74 of alcohol, 12.27 of class 1, and so on. So okay, let's move on. So we already have imported data. So let's move on and create our dashboard. So first of all, I will include a title to our dashboard. So in order to do that, I will use method name title, which is available from Streamlit, and I will say wine dataset analysis. So this will be the title of our dashboard, and let me include a small line below that explaining like what we are going to explore. So there is a method name markdown which let us include markdown as well. So I already have a text written which I will copy. So as you can see, I have included text saying wine analysis dashboard. Let us explore relationship between ingredients used in creation of three different types of wine, which is class 0, class 1, and class 2. As I have a double star over here around ingredients, it will be bolden. So okay, so we have a title in our data set and there is a small text over there. So let me just run this simple dashboard and show you how it looks. Now currently our dashboard will have only header. So let me go to, so over here I already have a terminal open. So I have this file saved in a directory named YouTube tutorials. And in order to run Streamlit file, I need to call Streamlit function, Streamlit command, and call run, and then give the file name, which is streamlit dashboard.py. So once I execute this command, so let me execute this one, and it will open a dashboard in a new tab in our browser. Okay, so it is running. As you can see over here, it's saying it's running. And yeah, here we have our title and text which we had written below it. Okay, so let me go to code part again. So over here, let's say that if you want to change the color of this text, so there is a simple way to do it. We can say colon and then say color name, and then wrap that text in that color. So currently there are few colors available: green, red, blue, and so on. There are not many colors available currently. Now apart from this, you can also include various emojis into the title as well as other text. So in order to do that, you need to do column and then emoji name. So I will say the emoji I know. So you should know the name of the emoji. And these emoji names are same as emoji name used online. So I will say coffee. Let me use chart as well. And there is another emoji name bar chart as well. So let me save this. As soon as I save this, over here, it will say source file change. So I need to rerun it. So now as you can see, analysis is over here and we don't see the emojis. So let me see what went over. Okay, so we need to cover start and end both inside of column, not just started with column. Okay. So as you can see, we have emojis. Right, so let's go ahead and create our first chart, which is a scatter chart. And the scatter chart will be showing relationship between two ingredients, alcohol and malic acid. And I will be creating it using pandas bokeh library. So in order to create a data set, simple scatter fold, I will call our wine df data frame. Then I need to call plot bokeh, then scatter. I will say for x-axis use alcohol, for y-axis use malic acid, for category let's say none, because we don't want to color entries as of now based on wine type, but we will include a simple checkbox in our dashboard later on, which when we will use this parameter. So category and all. So let's add x label to be alcohol, y label to be malic acid, title of the chart will be alcohol versus malic acid, figure size will be, let's set it to around 650 by 500 pixels, and there is a parameter named show figure which I need to set to false. So this method scatter will return bokeh figure. So I will say scatter fig. So now I have a bokeh chart ready, and in order to include this chart in our dashboard, I need to call method names t.bokeh chart, and over here I need to give this figure. Okay, so before we move on, let me change font size of title to 25 and font size of label to 12. Okay, so we have our initial chart ready, which is a scatter figure. So let me show you how it looks. So let me rerun this. And as you can see, we have our first chart ready, which is a scatter chart showing relationship between alcohol and malic acid, two ingredients from our wine dataset. Okay, so let's move on and create our second chart. So the second chart will be a stack bar chart. So I will be using this average wine DF data frame, which I showed you guys earlier. So this data frame, and stack bar chart will have three bars showing average values of various ingredients, the selected ingredients. So as of now, I will select three ingredients: alcohol, malic acid, and ash. So let me go ahead and create a simple stack bar chart. So I can do that using st.barchart method. I will give it our average wine DF data frame. For x-axis, I will say let's use wine type. So we have wine type on x-axis. For y-axis, I will say alcohol, malic acid, and ash. So it will take these three columns values from our average wine DF data frame, and let's set height to 500. So now this method, which we called on st.barchart, will create a stacked bar chart. Now this method behind the scene creates a chart using famous Python data visualization library named Altair. So let me show you how this chart looks. So let me just save this one. And as you can see below, we have our stacked bar chart with three values: alcohol, ash, and malic acid. And on x-axis, we say class wine type, class 0, class 1, and class 2. All right, so as you can see now, currently two charts are lying one another, like it's in vertical layout. So what I want to do is that I want to put them next to each other, the first chart over here and second chart over here. So let's go ahead and do that. So in order to do that, I need to create a container object. So container is nothing but a simple div. If you know what HTML is, it's a horizontal long div taking the whole width of the page. So once I have created a container, I need to divide that container into two equal parts. So what I will do is that I will say container dot. So there is a method named columns which accepts integer values. I will say 2. So now it will return me two objects, and I will rename them to chart1 and chart2. So chart1 and chart2 are container parts. So in chart1 we will include scatter figure, and in chart2 we will include our bar chart. So how we can do that? So we can do that using with statement context manager. I'll say with chart1, and we simply need to just need to copy our code which we had written for plotting scatter plot. So chart1 will go over there, and with chart2 I need to take this bar chart and copy it over here. Now before I go on and run this code, I need to do one more thing. So currently, as you can see, the layout of this dashboard is set in such a way that it has over white space over here and over here, and all the charts and text is added in between. But I want to use the whole space of this screen. So in order to do that, I need to write over here a simple line which says set page config, and there is a parameter named layout which I need to set to wide. So by default this parameter value is center, So you are seeing the result currently, which is based on center. As you can see, it is adding white space. So by setting it to wide, we will have whole page available for our purpose. Okay, and also I forgot to explain what is this st.cache data annotation. So what this simply does is that it caches the data which is written by this function, which is our wine data frame. So every time we change the code of this file, what Streamlit does is it reruns this whole file from top to bottom. So each time it does not run this function, it will retrieve the value of this dataset from cache. So that's why I have included over here st.cache data. If you don't want to run same thing again and again to retrieve data, then you can use this annotation or decorator, as they say in Python. Right, so let's go ahead and see how our chart looks now. So I have changed the file. Let me save it. Let me rerun it. Okay, so as you can see, now we have two charts lying next to each other, and we have used the whole width of our page. So now what I will do, first of all, I will add a simple header above our bar chart because we don't have any label over there. I will say average ingredients. So let me modify this and rerun this. So there is a, okay, there is a method name header, and let me rerun this one. So average ingredients and alcohol versus malic acid. Okay, so we have our initial dashboard ready. As you can see, what now we will do is we will add widgets, and then we will link those widgets to our charts. So let's go ahead and do that. So first of all, I will add two drop downs which will be used to change the x and y axis columns of our scatter chart. So I will call it x axis equal to, and there is a method name st.sidebar dot select box. So select box is a drop down. The first value is the label. I will say just x axis. Second is list of options that you want to display. So I will say ingredients. So this is x axis. Let me copy it and create one for y axis. So the third parameter is to this method is index, which I will set to 1 because the 0th ingredient will be selected by default. So for x-axis it will be alcohol, and for y-axis it will be malic acid. Right, so you can call this select box method directly on st as well if you want to include the widget in the main dashboard instead of sidebar. Okay, so we have created two checkbox, two drop downs. Let's create a one checkbox, name, color and code. So this checkbox will be used to color and color various points of our scatter chart based on wine type. So let's set it to sidebar dot checkbox, and let's set label to color and code bar by wine type. Right, so we have created two drop downs and one checkbox. So let's go ahead and run the code now. As you can see over here, we have x-axis and various values, alcohol, malic acid and so on. For y-axis we have malic acid selected by default, and now as you can see nothing is happening as we change this values of this widgets. So we will link them with this charts. Right, so let me add a simple title as well. So what I will do over here, st.sidebar dot mark down, and I will say scatter chart explore relationship between ingredients. Okay, so we have our sidebar ready with widgets. So let's link these widgets with this scatter chart. Then we will add the widget for this bar chart as well. Right. So now what this function select box does is it returns one of the selected values to x-axis. So x-axis variable will have a selected ingredient name. So what I can do over here, I can include a simple condition saying if x-axis and y-axis both are set, then over here instead of alcohol use x-axis, instead of malic acid use y-axis, and for category what I will do is that if color encode is selected, then color points by wine type. So wine type is one column which has three values, class 0, class 1 and class 2 as we had discussed earlier, else none. Same I will use for x label and y label. So I will say x this dot capitalize. Over here I will say y axis dot capitalize. Over here first ingredient was second ingredient format. Right, so here we have linked our drop down and checkbox to our chart. So now as we make changes to drop down, the chart will be updated as well. So let's go ahead and check that. So I will rerun this and let me change the value to ash. Okay, so there is a minor mistake over here. Let me change it to alcohol. Right, so let's change it to malic acid, and as you can see now the values are getting up. The chart is getting updated as we change the value. Let me, so as I change the as I select the checkbox, the various points of the chart are getting colored based on a wine type, and as I unselect it, it's getting now please notice over here that this charts are getting overwritten one over here. So in order to prevent that, what I will do, I will use a parameter name use container with, I will set it to true. Same I will do for so in bouquet chart I pass the parameter name use container with equal to true, and for bar chart also I have passed it. So after these changes they won't override one another. So when I remove this sidebar, let me introduce it. Let me save this file again so that I rerun the code. Okay, now if I do this, as you can see, they are not overriding anymore. Let's change the ingredients, alcohol versus magnesium. And as I select the checkbox, class 0, class 1 and class 2 are three different wine types based on which these points are colored. Okay, so we are done with our first scatter chart. Let's include a multi-select for our bar chart, stack bar chart over here. So by default, we are displaying only 3 ingredients over here, but we have like 10-12 ingredients. And what if we want to select some ingredients? So we can do that using multi-selects. So let's go ahead and add a multi-select. So first of all, in sidebar, I will add simple title for our bar chart. So I will say bar chart average ingredients per wine type, and then over here I will say bar multi select st dot sidebar dot multi select label I will say bar chart ingredients. List of values, options are nothing but ingredients, all the ingredients. And by default I want these three values: alcohol, malic acid and ash. Right, so we have added a multi-select as well to our chart. So let me show you how it looks. So as you can see, now we have multi-select added. But currently I haven't linked it to the bar chart. So if I make any changes, it won't impact the chart at all. So let's go ahead and link it to our chart. So what I will do, I will simply add if condition saying if bar multi-select. So if some of the values are selected from that multi-select, then create this chart. So bar multi-select will have list of values that are selected, which I need to pass over here for y-axis. So bar multi-select will have list of values that are selected by user. By default it will be alcohol, malic acid and ash, but as we change the value it will have different values. So all right, so let's go ahead and check how our code looks now. So I have rerun, and as you can see these values were selected. So let me remove this blue one, which is alcohol. So as I removed alcohol, right, so let me add some values. Let me add color intensity. So color intensity, let me add hue and so on. So right, so here we have our dashboard ready, and it was that simple to create a dashboard using Streamlit. As you can see, we have created a dashboard with around 46 lines, so it's less than 50 lines of code, and we have some spaces between the code. So actual line of code is quite less, not even a 46 lines of code. So yeah, that's it. If you liked our video and if you learned something new today, then give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and see you next time.